Hi guys, it's C P Beauvoir. Today is Friday, December 4th, 2020. And you guys know I'm obsessed with saying the time. And right now it is 7:23 p.m. I'm back with another book review. This is Illegal Soul Ties, Exposing the Deception of Premarital Sex by Lestine and Bell. So, this is the second book of hers I'm reading. The first book that I read that she wrote is titled Called to Be a Queen, Not a Fling. Um, the first book was primarily written for women. This one is for both men and women. So let's get right into this book review. So what are in a short, just to keep it short, this book is really telling you basically the subtitle why it's dangerous to have premarital sex and how it confuses you and why it's really best and to wait before to wait to get married before having sex. Before I get into the book review, I want to say that I am not a Christian. I don't have a religion. I was born into a religion, but I don't do religion anymore. However, so I just want to put that disclosure out there. I do believe in God. I believe in a higher power. I believe in God, but I just don't do religion. That's me. This book is written from a Christian religious point of view, and I love it. I do. Because I think that she makes a lot of valid points as to how sex means different things to a man and to a woman. Um, if you look at your average man who's I don't want to say average because that's subjective, but generally women, when they have sex, when she talks about this, when a woman has sex with a man and she gives her body to the man, to her that symbolizes love. However, for the men don't have to love you to have sex with you. In fact, there's a lot of men that can be sleeping with a woman that they don't even like, that they're not even attracted to. So basically, in this book, it's a very it took me a week to read it just because I had a lot going on. But really, this is a book that you can read in less than 2 hours, an hour, 2 hours, depending on your reading, pace. I read very fast. But basically, she talks about first. Let's get into what is. See, it confused me because I'm familiar with soul ties. I've heard that term being thrown around, but I didn't understand what she meant by illegal soul ties. So basically, Lestine talks about an illegal soul tie is basically um, when you embark on having a sexual relationship with someone, whether it be a man or a woman, that God did not ordain. Basically, you're having a sexual relationship that is not fulfilling you. It's not fulfilling your purpose. It's just sex, pretty much. And then when you keep having that relationship, let's take it for example, a woman would be, giving her body, thinking she's gonna have a family, a marriage, and everything else that she wants, but she'll be with a man that's just here for the sex. But the more she sleeps with the man, is the harder it is to break that relationship. And this relationship can actually turn to be very physically, mentally, emotionally, financially abusive. But the person is unable to break away. So yeah, um, basically, soul ties, she talks about on page 18. Soul ties connect two souls together in a spiritual realm. And I definitely believe in that. I believe everyone is energy, everything in life is energy. So, therefore, you have to be very careful who you allow into your body. And basically, the term illegal for her, because I was like, well, I never heard that before. Illegal soul ties. Illegal soul tie is created outside of the will of God. And she says the reason why she's sharing this book with us is because a lack of patience is causing a lot of singles to get entangled with the wrong person, which really leads to them compromising their relationship with the Lord by having sex prematurely. Ungodly soul ties transfer spirits between these two individuals having a sexual intercourse. So basically, the whole reason why those types of relationships are so problematic is because when you're ready to to break away, you can see that this is really not healthy for you. This is causing you to lose yourself, to turn into someone else, and this is not fulfilling you or fulfilling your purpose in any way. But you can't break away because you feel somewhat bonded to this person. So she talks about, in her book, Lestine mentions that sex is between is under a covenant and the bonds of marriage. So really, we should be having sex with our spouses, and that's what sex is reserved for. I love the book. I'm not gonna go into it chapter by chapter, but really, the soul tie relationship is not just an average, your normal relationship where you can just break away and go on your merry way. These relationships, like I said before, are very destructive to your mind, your body, and really your soul, because you can see that there's so much dysfunction in the relationship, but you, for some reason that's beyond you, you can't break away. And that's when she suggests you have to turn to the Lord. You cannot do this on your own. You have to turn to God to help you break this soul tie, because it's not just your body, your heart, or your mind that's joined to this person. It's your soul. So, and of course, she also talked about why it's important to recognize the difference between lust and love, and how those show up for you in the world. And she talks about the root of sexual immorality. There's a lot in the book that is very, very informative. The part that I loved the most was towards the end when she has some prayers. Well, two parts. First, she has the prayers. She goes into the whole thing explaining what soul ties is about, how you find yourself in this relationship, and why it's so important for you to break away, because you're not only losing yourself, but you're pretty much gonna live a wasted life at the end of the day if you keep maintaining this relationship. Not only a wasted life, that's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario was that could be that you actually end your life, or you lose your life. And she gives examples about people that end up in those relationships that have actually been killed. And yeah, it's horrible. But like I said, the book is very, very informative. What I liked the most about it was towards the end, where she does have prayers that you can say to break free from these types of relationship, and she gives like a step-by-step plan on how to break away and how to heal and find your purpose. That way, you don't repeat these type of relationship. Like it's worthless if you're gonna go from one soul tie to another soul tie to another soul tie. So she provides guidance on how, not only when you're done breaking that type of relationship, that what you should be focusing on as an individual, so that you don't recreate it again. So besides the prayers towards the end of the book, which I love, I also love how, and I'll show you guys a little bit of the pages. Towards the end, she has these pages about some things that you should be focused on as an individual, such as spiritual growth. What are your spiritual goals? How can you plan to grow in your relationship with God? Oh, that's something I forgot to mention. She also talks about how the most important relationship you have is your relationship to God. God should be and is your number one priority, because the only eternal relationship that we have is our relationship to God. And I very much believe in that. Everything else is temporary. The person that's with us from the moment of creation throughout eternity and beyond is God. Everything else comes and goes, it changes, it shifts, it grows. So yeah, and she talks about focusing on your personal growth, focusing on developing yourself as a person, take care of your finances, what can you do for your family and friends, how can you serve your community. So just when you break a soul tie is not the time to go create another one. It's time to discover yourself and your behavior pattern, to figure out how you got in this relationship in the first place, which I totally believe in. So yeah, you guys, I love this book. It's well worth, oh my God, I can't talk tonight. It's well worth the read. I love it. I will say, because I'm an avid reader, I read a lot of books and I read all the time. One thing that I didn't enjoy about this book was that I ran into a typo, I kid you not, either on every page. If it wasn't every page, it was every other page. So I'm saying this in the most loving manner. For those of you who have a powerful story to tell and you're putting your book together for self publishing, look, you can publish a book by yourself, and I totally support that. I have my own publishing company. I've self published before, but it's imperative that you get an editor to proofread your book. As a reader, I do not want to get through your book where I'm running into typos on every single page. A typo here and there, sure, I'm very easygoing, I'll let it go. But when your sentence structure is not correct and I'm running into a typo all the time, it really taints the reading experience for me. Because I'm having to go back to make sure that I'm really reading it correctly, and I'm stopping here and there, and it's really distracting. It really takes away from the message. Like, I'll get through it because I love the book, but I'm really suggesting to, I hope her next book, because her first book had the same problem. The second book I ran into the same problem, typos everywhere. Um, Not only that, another thing that that is important to me, especially when I'm reading like a book, sometimes the book, the way it's laid out, you have like some paragraphs will be single spaced, and then before you know it, you're facing more paragraphs that are very double spaced. So I find that weird. I mean, that's not the end of the world, but I'm just wondering if there's a reason why. And also, every word in this book is in italics, like it shifts to the right a little. And usually we use that if there's something you want to stress, not that every word in the book is like that. So I don't know. Just my thoughts. I love the message of the book, but reading the book as a reader, I did not have the best reading experience just because the typos are just everywhere. And as a writer, as someone who reads all the time, that's just something that really bothers me when I have to read a book where, I'm every other page there's a typo, there's several typos, and the sentence structure is just not right, or the verb is not placed in the proper way. So that's all I have to say. I really like her. I've watched her speak on the Dear Future Wifey podcast, and I think she's a gifted orator. I love how she speaks with so much power, and I just really love that. And I love her message in the book. I just I would have liked, I would have enjoyed reading it more without the typos, and all of that. But other than that, I think the message in the book is great. And yeah, check it out. So this is Illegal Soul Ties by Lestine and Bell. All right, everybody, have a great night, and I will see you for the next book review.